What's going down, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Space Bucket Growing with Drewski. And I'm the one and only Drewski. Today's episode, Growth in All Forms 3, is brought to you by Rain Man Space Bucket Micro Grows. That's Mostly Safe 8 on Instagram. Please follow them. They're the ones who supplied us with the Galaxy Hydro 135 watt LED light that we're using in the Lotus Eater, provided by Lotus Eater Organics. That's Lotus Eater Organics on Instagram. Oh, snap. Sorry about that, folks. Had to medicate. But we're going to kick this off. Growth in All Forms 3. This is where we start realizing a whole lot of things. As I'm seeing the difference between CFL builds grow and LED lights build grow, there's one thing I've already noticed in common, and that's that I have really hot soil. I was wondering why I was getting newt burned so freaking early, especially after transplant. Then I was like, oh, I switched over to the feeding regimen from the nutrients and the soil. You know, there's more soil now, so there's more nutrients already in there. And so I'm just going to start, I've got to flush her out with some water, but then I'm just going to give her water until she kind of grows out of it. Hopefully, by topping this early, and incorporating low stress training this early in the plant's life, maybe we can change some things about that and get the nutrients to speed up their process and get sucked up by the plant to get where they need to go, just because we're doing things a lot differently with this. Now, I do have a question, and that's for myself, and I'm going to look this one up. But the question is, at that point, once I top it and we start low stress training, do I defoliate from the bottom to make the new stalks be the places with bud sites? That's my question. So, and asking that, my thing is, like, when I top it and the new stalks start growing, they're going to be trained to be pinned down pretty much to the soil and create like one long stalk. It's going to be a T at the end of the day. And then the bud site should shoot up from there and then, you know, be all even growth from then on. My question is, what is considered a bud site? How many should you go for in a space bucket? Or how many can you handle in a space bucket? So I'm going to test the limits out on that, because I'm trying to go for as many as possible with as much even growth as possible. So, if you're following on Instagram, that's What Are We Doing _podcast. You'll always see pictures of the growth and development of both plants. And speaking of growth and development, the CFL build shot up on me. And so I had to build another spacer. Gave it another few inches away from the light so it can keep growing upward if needed be. I didn't want it to have light burn along with the heat stress that it already incurred. This plant's going through a lot. Still no formations of bud sites or anything, just a lot of stretching and growth. I don't know what that's about. But we'll just keep the flower schedule on it and see what happens. We've been on 12-12 for a while now. Nothing's really happened except for some growth. And that's kind of, to say, the minimum, other than noticing that once again, we've got hot soil, so we're just flushing with water on that one too. That's the only thing that we're doing is really just feeding a lot of water to these plants, making sure we don't get any more newt burn. We're going to top the CFL build and start the stalk growth on that. Learning that I have hot soil was something that I just came across, and that really tipped me off into a lot of things. So I got to really watch the soil or watch the new growth that comes out of this, especially since I'm just going to be feeding it water. I got to see if this growth comes out healthy, normal colored, you know what I'm saying, no tip burns on anything like that. And we just got to keep that under watch. Once that happens, we're going to give it some more growth time, and then we'll start feeding it nutrients when deemed appropriate. For now, we're just going to let the soil do the work and let the plant suck it all up. Nothing major. I am noticing, though, once again, that the CFL growth is just explosive. I didn't think I was going to be topping a plant this early, but it seems to love the lighting conditions that it's in. So we're just going to keep going with that. 135 watts of lighting plus the 50/50 light strip that I have in here. It's nothing really in addition. I should use it when the plant gets taller, but I do have it to intensify the light. So there is a little bit more wattage going into this plant than just 135 watt LED lighting. So this plant is in like optimal shape to absorb all the nutrients that the soil is providing, and just to keep growing at the massive rate that it is. Every day there's been new growth, and it's explosive new growth. The undergrowth is huge. The main growth is coming out huge. In comparison, it's almost like it is two different plants. Like, one's obviously, it looks like obviously a sativa. It's incurred a lot of stress, as has been stated. You know, this thing's been through a lot. Heat wave, overwatering, now watering and coloring and growth and heat and things of that nature. You know, I'm going to strip her down a little bit here and just keep it on the flowering schedule, but we're going to just feed that one water. But really, like, in the amount of time that we've had the LED build, it's done more growth than the CFL has by a long shot, at least by a month. And to be at a point to where it's barely a 2-week-old plant and we're already introducing advanced methods of training, it's just phenomenal to me. So I'm going to glove up here, grab the Fiskars. Actually, do this on the air with y'all. I do have my pruning shears and everything handy for this. But you'll see pictures here in a moment. But we're just going to take the top off and not miss. So we're not going to film this thing. Funny, I learned what it actually stands for. Fuck, I missed, which is hilarious. Another thing I've noticed in the development of this Smart Pot addition to the Space Bucket, it's easier to do things that you need to do, such as top your plant and things of that nature, because you can remove all these spacers and then remove the pot itself, enabling yourself to do the work that you need to do on your plant, which is pretty dope. I also like the addition of the Smart Pot being in there, just because it just makes things a lot more convenient too. When you're actually looking at your plant, if you really need to examine your plant, you can pull out the smart pot, pop it in a safe place, you know what I'm saying? Throw some cardboard down or something like that if you have it in your house, and go to town. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to pull this thing out. We're going to top her. We're going to put her back in and let her send her the light. So thanks for listening, folks. I'm learning a lot fast, especially about nutrients. Knowing that you don't need them is a blessing. Because then, you can also save them for when you need to, and in the stage that your plant's in, to accommodate. So, you can just let nature take its course, especially in cannabis plants. They really do adapt to their situations. So, it's something I'm learning, man. Hopefully you guys are staying tuned with me and getting this all going. Thank you so much for everybody who does listen. For everybody who's following along on Instagram, thanks for all the new followers for showing mad love. Make sure you're following on Spreaker or on iHeartRadio, on YouTube. We're trying to get this out to the masses and educate everybody as much as possible. I'm going to come through with some specs on LED lights and what they're supposed to do. We're going to take some inserts from like Grow Weed Easy, I Love Growing Marijuana, and that'll be the next episode, y'all. So thanks for tuning in. I'm out. We're going to get to topping.